Hello ladies and gents, in this video we will talk about binding template lifecycle in UI5. For showcase purposes only, let's add a combo box as a new column for our table here. So we open our web app view, worklist view, and copy the last column here. Let's say ID category column, don't need these. And I will just say category here, hard-coded. Don't need an ID. And as our new cell, we will create a combo box. And items will come from the categories entity set, so /categories. And as for our items, they will be core item, the key will be category ID, and the text will be category name. Now let's save, and we need a namespace for the core library, so let's add that as well. From SAP UI core. Now let's save and open our app again. Now we see that our app is still working fine, but we see this error in the console about the template shareable property. And what does this mean exactly? Let me try to explain. All the binding templates we have created so far belong to a simple control. For example, if we check our table here, we have the items aggregation binding and it belongs to this table alone. But when we create a binding template inside a table or a list, for example, like we did here, we have two options. We can either clone the template for every item, so we can clone this template for every row in our table, or we can use the same template for all items. And this error is telling us the framework doesn't know which option to take. Let's first inspect option 1, which we can achieve by setting the template shareable option to false. So let's do that. Let me break this into multiple lines and convert to an object. Path will be /categories. And like I said, template shareable, we set to false. Now if we save and check our app again, we see that the specific error is gone, and now let's see what exactly happened. First, let's find the global ID of our table. So let me select it, and let's scroll a bit. This is bar content, and this should be our table. So let me copy the ID, and in the console, let's say SAP UI get core dot by ID, and we pass in the ID. Now we have our table, and we can have all of our items here by saying dot get items. So we have all the visible items. Now let's loop over these items with a for of loop. So we say for const item of, and let's copy this part. And inside our loop, let's log to the console our binding templates for each of our combo boxes. So we can say item.getCells, and this is the 7th cell, so we can pass in the index as 6. And we can say .get binding info about the items binding .template. And now we run this, we see that all the templates have different IDs, and we can again access them by their IDs. For example, let's select this one, clone 3. We can also access that with SAP UI get core by ID. And now we had the template which was cloned. By setting the template shareable to false, like we did here, the templates are destroyed automatically by the UI framework when the binding of the parent control is destroyed. Let's prove that quickly by removing the binding from our table. Let's again get access to our table, like so. And here we can say unbind items. Items are gone, and now if we try to access this template clone, we get undefined. This is good, but we create multiple objects which are basically the same since they are just clones. Now let's try the second option by setting the template shareable option to true and see what changes. Now let's get our app refreshed and do the same thing by logging all the templates. And now we see that they all have the same ID, so they are the exact same control. Let's copy this ID, make sure we can access it. It's not undefined. We have it here, and now let's again unbind our items. And let's try to access our template again, and we see that it hasn't been destroyed. So the difference here is very clear. If we use template shareable false, the template is cloned maybe too many times. If we use template shareable true, we can use the same template, but we have to do the destruction ourselves to prevent memory leaks. And as we saw earlier, we can also leave template shareable unset, but as stated by SAP, this is very error prone and not recommended. That would be all for this video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.